Welcome back to the Wizard Shop, and it's time for more yachting adventures on the really sweet yacht. Let's take a look. So there's been a lot of progress on the yacht, and we're getting ready to show you guys some really sweet things about it.
That's not the yacht. That's not the yacht, right, guys?
Well, it is a yacht. Well, it's a boat.
It's a boat, for sure, but that's not the yacht.
Well, it's kind of a yacht.
But it's not the one we had. It's not the one we've done all these videos on that we've been restoring.
It's not the same as what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, it's not the same, guys. When one yacht is going to take a long time to finish and not going to be done in time, you just go out and buy another one. Isn't that what everyone does?
No.
Oh, well, Hoovie is so excited this summer to go out yachting together with the Wizard that this boat was found and purchased. It was like, we got to do this, Wizard. We got to go yachting this summer. So it's like, okay, I guess we will.
Don't worry. We're going to finish the other one. It's still over in its normal spot. We're going to finish it. It's just going to take a little bit longer than we were thinking.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the new purchase.
Yeah.
So this one's about a third smaller. As you can see, the big Carver in the background. It has still got plenty of room to sleep 3 people. It is a Bayliner 2452 Sierra Classic. It doesn't have 2 engines. It has 1 engine. Well, it does have 2 engines. It has 1 main inboard engine, and it has an auxiliary small little outboard. This one was kind of like a sport fisher slash yacht slash boat. It does a lot of things all at once, and I got it for $9,000. There's a small list of things to fix on it, but it does not need to be completely gutted like the big Carver does. There's so much to do on it. By the time we finally get the Carver done, it will be fall or getting into winter, because I also have to run a shop.
You mean this one doesn't have a blown head gasket?
No, it has a perfectly running main engine, a perfectly running auxiliary engine. Everything's ready to go. The sewer system, or I guess the containment system, is not in pieces. It's not full of crap. This boat is literally not full of crap, guys. It's not. It's clean. So before we dive in and fix the few things we got to fix, let's take a look at what we got here and let you guys check out the really sweet interior. Let's start in there. So as you can see, it's a little bit smaller up here. It's still got plenty of room, but it is about 30% smaller than the Carver. The helm and also the rear of the boat are pretty much all melded into one area. It has all the gauges and everything that I need to operate the boat. Some of the switches don't work, like the horn and the navigation lights. I need to figure that out. But everything else works just fine. And I mentioned it was kind of a sport fishing boat. It has, I think it's called a live well, or somewhere you can keep fish. I'm not sure how all that works. I'm not a fisherman. I'm not a boat fisherman. I just know that it's there. How it works and what it does, I don't know. I probably won't be using it. But maybe we can put some ice in it and put some cold drinks in there. I don't know. Right here is the main inboard engine. I'll go ahead and move these seats out of the way and we'll take a look. So there we have our Mer Cruiser 5.0. And there is a little bit of water in the bottom. The customer said it rained on the boat and rain went down in there. So that is not lake water, that's just rain. This one's like 220 or 230 horsepower or something. I'm not going to swap it out for an LS. I'm not going to do anything crazy. It runs perfect. I think it was overhauled not too long ago and gone through, and it just runs like a top. It runs very well. So luckily, I don't have to rebuild the motor or do something crazy with this one. It's ready to hit the lake as is. One thing that I like, and also Hoovie really liked about this boat, is that it has a hard top. So you can get out of the sun and the wind. You can go across the lake and it's not a bunch of plastic flapping in the wind. It's somewhat aerodynamic. The air goes over you. When you're out on a lake, when there's no wind, you can literally cook like a lobster. I mean, you can really burn. It's good to be able to get under here and get out of the sun if you need to. Let's take a look at the gauge cluster. So there's some sort of a GPS or something that's no longer working. You can see the LCD screen has been compromised. It's dead. I will be throwing that in the trash and getting me a nice Humminbird, some kind of a touchscreen color GPS and depth finder. Here's our horn, nav lights, anchor light, bilge pumps, which work. Here's our blower for the engine compartment. You can hear that it works. So we can clear the fuel vapors out of the area. There's the wiper, panel lights, cockpit lights, dome lights, accessory. Here's a fuel gauge for the auxiliary tank. This is the trim gauge. Here's our speed. I'm not sure if this works or not. I mean, it's sitting at 20 miles an hour and we're not moving. We'll have to see when we get on the water if that needs to be replaced or not. Our tach works, oil pressure, temperature, the main fuel tank, and charging system. Here's our radio. If we get stuck somewhere and we need to call for help, at least we have a radio. And a cup holder. Look at that, Mrs. Wizard.
You will be so hydrated.
Yep. I'm not going to start the engines because I don't have the water hose, garden hose hooked to them, but I did have them going right after I bought it and checked it out, and they run perfect. I'm really, really happy about that. And here's a quick video clip of it running so you guys can hear it. So if you're going to run the boat, here's the main ignition for the inboard engine. Separate to that is the auxiliary little engine on the back. It's a little Mercruiser engine, or Mercury I guess. And here's the main throttle for the inboard. I'm almost thinking I will like this boat even more than the Carver. We're going to see what we're going to do with that. We'll get it finished. We might take it out and enjoy it. It might go for sale, guys. You never know. We'll have to see when we get it done. Let's go take a look down in the cabin.
Okay, so we're back inside the cabin, and this is my domain. And the first thing you can see is there's a couple of steps to go down to get down into this region. And that first step is kind of a doozy. And if you look at it kind of carefully, it's got a little bit of a clip to it. It's kind of got a little bit of a overhang. Got to put your foot over it, and then it's quite the fall down. That's where our breaker box is as well. Then as we move back, we've got a lovely dinette area. There's Wizard chilling out for a few seconds. And this conveniently, like many RVs, the table goes down and these cushions lay flat to make a bed. Notice that there is another drastic step up. So this actually does have some storage, different storage than the Centigo did. Under the seat where the Wizard's at, and under this other side are some storage compartments. There's also a small storage area by the Wizard's foot for more space to hide a few little treasures. Additionally, we do have a lovely little car stereo that we'll have to test out, see how it sounds, see if we want to keep that, because I see, well, it does have Bluetooth, which is definitely going towards it, so we can at least, put some music that we want to have on and not be at the mercy of what the radio stations are playing in that area. Now, these windows are also bigger than what the Centigo had, and they also, if you notice, there's a screen, which means the window's actually open. So we'll be able to get some nice ventilation through here when we're going down the lake. Got a couple of speakers as we approach the V-berth. Nice cushions on top do obviously have a 90s feel to them. So not so sure what we're going to do with that yet, but as we've said, we've not really gone much into here. We've not really looked. Again, a little dirty, okay, quite dirty, but more storage spaces is actually going to be where you can put some items. Notice that this is also a very different view, which we can see. Hi, Centigo. I think he's jealous over there, because here, when you're in the cabin, you can actually see where we're going. The only ability you had with the Centigo was to turn on the Android-based radio and turn on the, well, forward camera, which was because it was a car stereo that we put the backup camera forward. That was the only way to see where you were going. So here, and you can tell we have got one side snapped to give dark on one side when you're sleeping, and you can open up and see around. As we get to the galley area, lovely more windows that open. And notice that it's smaller because we are going to get to the head in just a second. Got a small area here, very small sink. Notice it is missing a faucet, so that is one thing we will be looking into. A cutting board on top of a gas range, and then a little bit of storage under the sink and a refrigerator, which again, we have not tested. Let's check the head. Well, that's what it is. It's a bathroom, all right. Got the rest of that window, which we can, I guess, open up, which will nice and help out ventilate out some areas. And again, a little toilet, which will hopefully not be making a surprise visit out of the boat onto the concrete like on the Santiago. Again, a little bit of a curtain, and let's check. Light is not working, so only light that works right now is that guy in the galley half of the cabin area.
One thing that I think is really cool is if I need to get to the back side of the gauges or check the wiring, things going on the helm, I don't have to take apart a bunch of panels. I just unbutton that, and there's everything. All the different wiring and things that go to the ignition switch and gauges, and that's really, really cool, really easy to get to. With it snapped into place, you really don't even notice it's there. It's really nice access to repair any kind of wiring issues. Like Mrs. Wizard said, it's a lot smaller in here, but it's still plenty of room to do what we want to do. In fact, it may be plenty of room to just keep this boat. I really like it already. Let's go look around the boat and see what it looks like out there. Unlike the Carver, this one doesn't need to be fully sanded and refinished. It just needs to be polished. It has nice, smooth gel coat, still in good condition. It just needs polished and cleaned up, and it still has good bottom paint. Again, it just needs to be scrubbed and get some of the green algae off, but it's still in good shape, amazingly. So that saves us a lot of work. We can get this thing in the water and have fun and enjoy it. And back here at the stern, we talked about it had a main engine and an auxiliary engine. Here's the main Alpha 1 drive that goes to the 5-liter Mercruiser engine. Has a fairly new prop on it. It also is in good shape. It's not all corroded like the old Carver was. The paint is still in good shape. It has an interesting linkage here for steering. It looks like an air fitting, like for an air hose. But I don't know, it's kind of weird. It works. But it's a linkage that goes from here to the auxiliary outboard engine. So when you steer left and right, it matches accordingly and steers accordingly.
Okay, so Wizard, why does it have two really different kinds of engines?
So being that this was a fishing boat and also a yacht at the same time, even though I know it's not as long as a yacht should be, it still has the feel of one. This will be your main engine as you go flying across the lake on at 30 miles an hour. But for a fisherman, he doesn't want to go fishing at 30 miles an hour. The main inboard engine is not going to want to chug along at 2 miles an hour. This little guy can take over. You can shut off the main engine and troll, basically like a trolling motor, and just troll around real slowly. It's also really nice if the main engine overheats or something goes wrong. You don't have to call for a towboat. You just turn on your auxiliary engine, and although it'll be a little slower, quite a bit slower, you can still get back to the dock. So at first I thought that's kind of weird to have an extra engine on the back, but then after it was described to me what it's for, it's like, yeah, I definitely think that's cool. It's going to work great. It has a very small swim platform. Mrs. Wizard was thinking to get a larger one, but I don't think that's going to work because we have the stern drive here and the auxiliary engine there that leaves you pretty much this much room to have a swim platform. So that's just going to have to be what it is. There's the trim stabilizers. You can see somebody used to have a depth finder, something there. It's no longer connected. I'll probably buy Like I said, a touchscreen style GPS with a depth finder, and just use this location and put a new one on it. Here's some vents and some drains for different things. I'm not sure what all they all do. There's some more here. That's pretty much it on this side of the boat. As you can see, as you look down here, it's shiny. It just needs to be cleaned and polished up. It's going to look really nice. Really nice boat. So I didn't want the whole summer to go by and we don't get to go out and do some boating or yachting or whatever you want to call it. I wanted to purchase one that maybe needs a little work, but we get those few things done over the next few weeks and then we're done. We can hit the lake and start enjoying the thing. That's not going to happen with the Carver. Even if we stayed on it day after day after day with no interruptions from running a business, it would still probably take 2 or 3 more months to get it done. There's that much to do. A lot of sanding and scrubbing and rewiring, plumbing, and it just goes on and on and on. That's not so with this little guy. I'm not sure what we're going to name it. We'll have to see. What do you guys think in the comment section? I talked with my youngest daughter. I thought jelly bean would be pretty cool because it's just a small little jelly bean, but I don't know. What do you guys think? One thing I like about this boat is that it's large, but it's just small enough to be easily towable, just like in this picture. I can tow it with my Infinity QX56 that you guys have seen in a previous video. The QX56 is rated for 9,000 pounds, actually 8,900 or something like that. This is a 5,000 pound boat, 2,000 pound trailer. That's 7,000 pounds. It's well below the max tow rating. And I towed it here without having to hire anyone like I did on the Carver. This one towed up here real nicely. It did really well. If you go much larger than this, it starts to get tough to tow them on the highway. You almost have to hire someone to get it done. This one's just the right size. I really enjoy that fact. If you're curious what kind of tools we're going to use to fix the few things that are or need to be fixed on here, check my Amazon affiliates link in the description below. Everything that we use in the shop to fix cars is listed there for sale, and we get a small cut. We really appreciate it. And make sure you hit the subscribe button because there's constantly new stuff coming in the shop, new projects. Thanks for watching.